Work is meaningful when it's purpose-driven. Life is never made unbearable by circumstances, but only by lack of meaning and purpose. Viktor Frankl. The problem with work without purpose. Many people work just to earn money, treating their job as a means to survive rather than a way to contribute. This often leads to burnout, feeling exhausted and disconnected from work, lack of motivation, struggling to find a reason to put in effort beyond the paycheck, boredom and dissatisfaction, work feels empty and repetitive. Purpose-driven work transforms the experience. When work is connected to something greater than personal gain, it becomes fulfilling, even if it's difficult. Love as the ultimate source of meaning. The salvation of man is through love and in love. Viktor Frankl. Why love is a core source of meaning. Frankl observed that in concentration camps, prisoners who had someone to live for, whether a spouse, child, or even a memory of love, were more likely to survive. Love gives people a reason to endure suffering, a sense of belonging and purpose, hope even in the worst conditions. Frankl often survived by imagining his wife's face and the love they shared, even though he didn't know if she was still alive. He said, "I did not know whether my wife was alive, and I had no means of finding out. But at that moment I sensed she was present, that she was with me. I heard her answer me, saw her smile, a thought transfixed me, the truth, that love is the ultimate and the highest goal to which man can aspire." In the depths of the concentration camp, where men were stripped of their names, dignity, and even the basic expectation of survival, Viktor Frankl found something that the Nazis couldn't take from him: his mind, his will, and his love. Meaning in suffering. In Auschwitz and Dachau, suffering wasn't just common, it was the only constant. Beatings were random, death was routine, and survival was less about strength and more about luck. Prisoners were crammed into wooden bunks, stacked on top of each other like corpses waiting for their turn. One day, while digging a trench in the freezing cold, a guard struck him across the back. His body ached, hunger gnawed at his insides, and he knew that if he collapsed, he'd be beaten to death or worse, left in the snow to freeze. He said, "I can't escape this suffering, but I can decide what it means." He realized that suffering, no matter how brutal, had the potential to shape him rather than destroy him. If he gave up, the suffering would be pointless. But if he endured with purpose, if he used it to strengthen his will, to sharpen his mind, then even this horror could serve something greater. Frankl watched other prisoners die not because of sickness or starvation, but because they had nothing left to live for. They let go of meaning, and when meaning left, life followed. He vowed never to do the same. Viktor Frankl's survival in the concentration camps came not from physical strength, but from his ability to assign meaning to suffering. He refused to let pain be pointless, instead using it as a tool for inner growth. Love, even in the absence of his wife, became his anchor, proving that meaning exists beyond the physical world, and that a man with a reason to endure can survive even the worst horrors. In the end, suffering itself is not the enemy. It is our response to it that defines us.